Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
All married couples. The importance of being a better spouse, to be a better wife, to be a better husband. In most circumstances, most cases, it's not too hard for the first 6 months when you're going out with someone and you're going to be married with them. You're probably a really good boyfriend and a very good girlfriend. You do many things well. And that's the reason the other person is going to marry you, because they feel in love with you and you're being so good to them. The problem is after you get married, as not many, but all would tell me the big problem happens after you get married. Let's see why, when you're going out with people, you're going out with a man, you're going out with women, how things are good and sweet, but then when you get married, there's a different story. People don't change, sometimes they do, but it's more that we change, the way we act. But if you keep these four different points, if you keep them in mind and you practice that, when you're going out with your girlfriend, going out with your boyfriend, you do the same. The joy will grow and the love will be strong each day. But you have to do these things. If you don't do these things, your marriage is going to be very sad very quickly after you get married. Let me start with the respect. I see great respect and kindness and sweetness when people are going out with each other. You should see, I say my rosary, I go to the park, and in May, the birds are singing, the flowers are blooming, and there are boyfriends and girlfriends walking hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, and they kiss each other. They show so much sweetness and kindness. I would probably never lose any money if I took some money out of my pocket and said, here, I have $20 for each one of you. Each couple I see in the park. Sometimes I see 5, 10, 15 couples. If you've been married over 5 years, I want to give you each $20 for your great marriage you're doing. I would be shocked if anyone said, we're married yet 10 years. All of them are just going out with each other. I would be shocked to see someone with hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, sweetness, showing publicly, and they've been married 10, 15 years. That just doesn't happen in most marriage cases. And because of that, the marriage goes sour. Why do you think the girl liked the guy? Because he was sweet, he was gentle, he was romantic, he was showing his affection. But it's gone after you get married. So if you stop that, why do you think your wife is not happy with you? Why does she feel sad? Why does she feel anger? Why does she feel lonely? Because you think she would marry you if you didn't show her any kind of affection, any sort of sweetness? I don't think so. Well, why do you think when you're married, she's going to be a sweet, nice spouse to you, and you're cold and you don't show any warmth or any sweetness? Don't stop that. Every day, you be sweet to your wife. You tell her, as the boyfriends tell their girlfriends, in so many ways. They write poems, they write notes. These days, they text message their girlfriends. They call them, and they always tell them, I love you, I'm thinking of you, I can't live without you, I love you, you're my sweetness, you're my treasure. And they just constantly express their love to the girlfriend. And that is nice, and that is sweet. And those things have a great effect on her in wanting to give her heart to him. So if you stop that, do not think for a minute, the problem is with my spouse. She doesn't show me any love. No, the problem starts with our own selves. I don't start saying the problem is with the people in my parish, the problem is with these other priests. No, I need to be a better person. So we begin by our own selves. So this is for the husbands and for the wives. But today, at this moment, I'm talking about the husbands. A little later in this talk, we'll talk about the wife too. So husband, please, don't cry and be sad. She wants to divorce me. She don't love me anymore. Well, I asked the guy, when was the last time you told me you love her? I don't really remember, Father. When was the last time you brought her roses? I remember sick, but you can't even remember her, almost. When's the last time you told her you love her, and you hugged her, and told her she's pretty, tell her that you care for her? Those are very necessary. If you don't eat, if you don't sleep, you die. In a marriage, you don't show any sort of affection or love, the marriage dies. Okay? And it goes the same for the wife. She tells him, you're a very good-looking man. I love you. You're very good. You're a very nice man. You're a very good man. You're a very smart man. You're a very good husband. I so much love you. I really, really appreciate it. Those words go a long way if you mean it from your heart, and you ask God to give you that grace to say that. So remember, respect the way you talk to your spouse. I go to homes, and I'm amazed, not everyone, but most people, how they treat me. Because I have a collar, and I'm on call a priest. This helps me a lot for my errors, because sometimes, if you know me, I come late. Sometimes, when I eat, I make messes. Sometimes, I say things that might hurt people and be offended. The people have no problem with that when I go to their houses. I come late, no problem, Father, I know you're busy. Oh, Father, you just dropped all your food on the floor. I'll fix that for you, I'll make it another. No problem. Father, you say some very strong things. You know, most people might not like what you're saying. They do not get angry with me. They don't kick me out of the house. They're sweet, gentle, and patient, and kind with me. It's Father. Don't yell at the priest. Be kind to him. He's a priest. And you know what? Believe it or not, you may not know it, but I notice it, and it affects me. Even though you go, Father Stephen, it doesn't affect it. It affects me. Your kindness and sweetness, and it helps me to be a better person. And I go home thinking that I hope to be like you, and a better person. But if you're mean to me and say, don't you know how to eat? Why do you come late? And you mean and yell at me, and you criticize me, and you don't show me any kind of patience and love. Do you think I'm going to change? Yeah, I'll change. But I'll change even worse because of my pride. So please, I'm asking you, I'm telling you, I pleaded with you. Be kind to your spouse. You need to be patient. You need to be sweet. I don't care how many defects, how many vices. Yelling, being mean does not help the person. It only hurts the person. Being ignore them, being cold, giving up on them does not help them. You have to be kind and gentle. People say, Father, I know you now. I'm going to treat you like my brother. You could come to my house with pure confidence. You don't have to worry about anything. You're like one of the family. You're like Joseph. Just come in the house like my brother. And then I get a little afraid. To tell you the truth, I get a lot afraid, very afraid. Because I see how you treat your brother. He comes in, you don't even say hi to him. You say, well, I'm busy right now. You don't talk to him with kindness. You yell at him with things he's doing wrong. You don't have that respect and that humility that you have towards me. Please don't treat me like your brother. Because there's a great temptation to treat people that you know very closely, be your husband, be your wife, be your children, be your family, to be more cold and more hard and less charitable than them. You have to be kind to them as if it was your girlfriend or boyfriend. You have to be kind to them as if it was a priest. And not be falling temptation. Well, I know them. They know me. I don't need to be on my best behavior. I don't need to talk to sweet and kindness. I don't have to be. They know me. And they have to accept who I am. No, you don't stop being disrespectful. You don't stop being sweet. You don't stop being humble. It has to do an act of the will. And sometimes you don't really care if the priest comes right now. You're busy. But you go, it's the priest. I have to be on my best behavior. You do that when your spouse enters the door. Imagine if I was married to a woman and I come home late. She says, where were you? You always come late. She yells at me. Do you think that's going to get me to change? That means to get me being angry and starting to hate her. But if she prays for me and she has patience with me and she talks to me with love, with all her heart, I may not change, but that would be the best way to change me. Being mean, I may do what she says, but I'm going to resent her and begin to hate her. So it's very important that the way you act when your husband comes home. You don't yell and say, where's the milk? Is this all the money you have? Why do you come late? Why don't you bring what I asked you? Now I got a list of work for you to do. I want you to go clean the yard. I want you to throw this garbage out. You haven't done anything. Why would I want to come to your house? You talk like a witch, and you might even look like a witch the way you don't even take care of yourself. And you treat me like I'm nobody. You don't teach me with a smile. You let me rest. You don't ask me how my day is. You don't give me something to eat. You don't be patient, kind of me, and try to relieve me and talk to me. You just start ordering me around, yelling at me, telling me how bad I am. I might come late, not because I'm working, but I need to drink before I can see your face. And say, I can't handle this witch. I gotta go drink for a couple of nights. And I might start excusing myself. She's driving me to drink to become alcoholic. Of course, it's my fault, but I'm saying you're helping. So it's important that when you come home, the wife is sweet to the woman, to the man. And you help him. You tell him, how's your day? I'm glad to see you. Smile. And you be kind and gentle. Later, when there's time, if you relax, you try to talk to them. But don't start yelling, screaming at them. And don't yell and be mean to your children. And yell at them and be angry at your children. Talk to them nicely. Kids need to be told 5, 10 times, and they're doing good. If you tell them 1 or 2 times, that's an extraordinary child. And so if I'm a child living in your house, and I see how mom talks to daddy, or how daddy talks to mom, and there's no respect and kindness, guess how I'm going to talk when I get there. Other than a miracle, I'm going to be exactly like my parents. So please, make me want to come home if I was your husband. Not like I don't want to come there. Because there's going to be these fights and screaming and yelling and criticizing. And husband, please, when you come home, don't think you're the king of the castle and now your slaves are going to work. Don't enter and sit down and say, bring me my food, kick off your shoes, and say, bring me a beer from a child and give me 2 of them. I got my food I brought here. Wife, where's my food? I'm hungry. And you start, where's my control? And you start putting the TV on. Kids, leave me alone. Don't bother me. I'm tired. Honey, I don't have no time to talk. It's the first time I sit down all day. Don't tell me the problems. You deal with it. I have no time right now. I'm tired. Please give me some peace. Leave me alone. Oh, good Lord. You think you're the king. You don't think your wife hasn't been working. You don't think she's tired. You don't think that she needs a little peace and quiet, but she's on her feet till 11 o'clock at night. You get home at 6 and you're already rested. She's got to work 5 more hours to 11, 12 at night or the kids are in bed. Believe me, husbands, you're on your second, you have another job. You might say, Father, I work from 8 to 6 at night. I'm working 10 hours. You got another job, and that's when you come home. You got 2 jobs. You're not done when you walk through that door. You pray and say, Jesus, ahora, now my spouse needs my patience, my kindness, my sweetness. She needs me to be kind, just like when you were going out with her. She wasn't always on time. She didn't do anything perfect, but you said, that's okay. She's busy. She being yelled at her, I'm just going to hurt her and make her feel bad. I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't want to mistreat her. How beautiful. And you look past her defects. But now, no more looking past the defects. You start being mean, you abuse her. You think you're the king and she's your slave. No, marriage is you serve the other person. You come and say, she's tired. Honey, sit down. Please sit down, sweetie. I bet you've been tired. I want to talk to you. Give time to talk to her. Most women tell me the greatest suffering they have is they're lonely. Imagine they have 2, 3, 4, 5 kids and they tell me they're lonely. He said, Father, I can't talk to kids. I'm an adult. I want to talk to another adult. I can't talk to my husband. He says he's too busy. All he does is want to eat, drink, and then he says, let's go to bed. He wants to use me just for something sexual. Not as a friend, not as someone to have a relationship and to talk about how you feel, the good things and bad things. Please set a time with your wife every day, because otherwise, that's no excuse, but that's some temptations why women cheat on their husbands. Because the guys at work tell them, oh, you're such a good woman. Why does your husband treat you so bad? And they sit there and they listen for a half hour, told all her problems. He says, you listen to me, you understand me. And she feels so good someone cares about her. What she doesn't get at home. She did because her husband criticized her and wants to have sex with her. That's it. Doesn't take time to speak to her or listen to her. and without being mean to her and criticize her and tell her that she's ugly, her house is filthy, and telling her things just to make her feel bad. Nothing to help her and try to lift her up. And so it's no wonder why there's a lot of adultery. The devil gets into that, no doubt. But the man, in many ways, is very guilty of it. He makes her feel alone and he pushes her somewhere else. And the devil does the rest with her weakness. So please, love her at home. Be her friend at home. And there won't be none of this adultery or cheating. I'm telling you. This is reality. As you know, as you work, it's happening often, more times than it's not. Another thing, be grateful what you have. Be grateful for your spouse. Thank God every day. If you want to be happy, you will be a grateful person. If you're not grateful, you won't be happy. I have a wife who loves me, who puts up with me, who puts up with all my things, who loves me even though I do these things. She or he needs me. They love me. They gave their life to me. They work every day for me. They sacrifice for me. She watches over my children. She cooks for me. She cleans my clothes. She cleans the house. She works. She does whatever she can. Though she's not perfect and she's a sinner and she has a lot of defects, she loves me. And I have to thank God every day for her. And if you don't, you won't ever be happy. Be grateful. Tell her every day you love her. Tell him that. He works hard. He's a man who cares. He's faithful to me. He loves my children. Yes, he does things wrong, but he loves me. He's my husband. Be grateful for him. How many women don't have a husband or a man or someone to love them and they're alone and they feel so sad they have no children? Be grateful when you're working that you have someone to come home to, someone to love. You are so blessed from heaven. Be grateful and tell the person every day you love them and you care for them. Tell them every day that you thank God for them and you thank them that you have them. They will feel so happy and appreciated. If you make the other person feel appreciated, that person will love you more and be more happy with you. You have to show that. If you don't express that, then there's a lot of sadness and loneliness. You have to express your love in words and actions. If you don't, then it's not gonna. Then your marriage is gonna suffer, and you're gonna have many problems. So please respect your husband. No scream at them. Don't yell at. Talk to a voice that they out of love. Don't talk to them in a voice that would hurt them. It's funny, like I told you before, how people talk to me with loveness and sweetness, even though I make mistakes. It happens even on telephone. Sometimes they say, "Hello, it's Father Stephen." They didn't really hear me. They say, "Who is this?" I said, "Father Stephen." "Could you speak up, please?" "It's Father Stephen." "Oh, it's you, Father." "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was you. I couldn't hear you. Please forgive me." How different. How different they treat me because I was a priest. Now I said, "Oh, this is your husband, John. Well, why don't you speak up loud?" What a difference. How terrible. Or if I'm on the phone sometimes in a house with some people and they're having a fight at the house and I'm visiting the house, I see that they're fighting with their husband and wife. They're expecting an important phone call, one of their friends. They're screaming like this, "You don't know how to clean. You're one of the worst spouses anyone can have. There's no one worse than you in this whole neighborhood. You don't know how to cook. You don't know how to clean. You don't know nothing about being a wife. You're the worst." And start saying terrible words, swear words, screaming, and terrible. The neighbors are listening, and the phone rings. And all of a sudden they pick up the phone. "Please be quiet. This is the phone call I'm waiting for. It's my friend for a job." "Yes? Oh, I wouldn't have any problems coming at 5 in the morning. No, I'd be very grateful. You're such a good person. Thank you for hiring me. Thank you for, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for calling." The moment they hang up, "And you, I can't stand it. I'm going to lose this job because of you." Look at the respect they show on the phone. And they hang that phone up and they turn on a different voice and they act like they're a monster from hell. Please, don't treat your spouse like some horrible monster or some dog. And treat the people you don't even know with love and respect. Those people have husbands. They have defects. They have problems. You need to love them in their sinfulness. It's very hard to do. That's why we need God. And that's why we pray. Because if I don't pray, I'm not going to love a lot of people because, like me, they're difficult people. And I love them who they are. If I don't pray, I'm going to be mean and I'm going to change them and I'm going to hurt them and push them away instead of bringing them towards God. Only love and kindness. Jesus, look at the image of Jesus I have here. This is the Sacred Heart of Jesus. This is an image of Jesus' love. He's pointing to his heart. And there's a fire there. And there's a heart there. And he says to us, as he said in the Bible, as he said to the saint that he appeared in this beautiful image, he said, be like me. Be like me. And how did Jesus say he was? I am humble and meek of heart. I have a humble heart and meek heart. Jesus is humble. Jesus is strong, powerful. He's the creator of the universe. He has all the strength to destroy the world in an instant. But he's humble. He's so humble with the apostles. For 3 years, they didn't understand him. 3 years, they were fighting with each other. For 3 years, they weren't grateful. For 3 years, they wanted justice on others. And Jesus was humble and patient and kind to them. He was meek. He accepted people abusing him. He accepted people not loving him. People taking advantage of his love and his goodness. He was meek and humble of heart. So Jesus is our image. And so every day before I start my day, I must take time before I start my work. If I don't pray, if I don't go home, before I go home, if I went to a place that's difficult to be with, if I don't spend time in prayer and tell Jesus, Jesus, my heart is full of pride. Jesus, I have impatience in me. Jesus, I criticize people. I judge people. Jesus, I don't have the humility you have. I have a cold and hard heart. I want things done fast the way I want it. And now I fall in weakness. I fail in love. Jesus, change my heart. Make your heart like mine. Make your heart, like your heart. I want a heart that's sweet and gentle, patient and love. Jesus, please, I want a heart full of humility. I thank you, Jesus, change my heart with the help of your mother. And then I pray part of my rosary. And I reflect how Jesus did. And I spend time in prayer for 15 minutes or 10 minutes for an hour. And then when I go and start my day, that love lives in my heart and my mind. I need to continue to pray. Otherwise, this heart is empty. Instead of love, it fills with ice and coldness. And I'm mean and critical of many people. Especially my beloved, if it be my wife and children. The people I'm supposed to love the most, I hurt the most. And the devil is laughing at me and at my family. So it's very important that we spend time in prayer. Most families that have major problems is that they don't pray. The husbands don't pray. They don't go to church, or just once in a while, or just routine. They don't do it with love and kindness. They don't love their husbands. They don't love their wives. They don't accept them who they are. Let us remember that we must pray every day. Because in Chicago, if you live in Chicago, it's a cold place. Very cold. In November, in December, January, February, even March. In May, it's beautiful. In June, it's marvelous. In July, in August, if you love warm, you're going to love Chicago. I love Chicago because there's a lot of heat there those days. The trees are green. Everything was so beautiful with the beautiful warm weather and the water. But you know, in September, October, November, you better wear your jacket. You better put on a lot of gloves and hat. Otherwise, you will freeze to death. It's the same thing. When you go out with someone for 6 months, You have the incredible love. It's like May, June, July, August. But once you marry them, it becomes winter. Because your emotions and feelings go away. It's like you tell your new spouse, where are we going to live? She asks you, and you say, I have $5,000 saved up. We're going to rent an apartment. But how long is this going to rest? That's going to last. Is it going to be 6 months, 7 months, 8 months? Not even a year, less than a year. And if you don't go to work, you're going to be living in the streets soon. You have to work to replenish that money. You can't just say, I've got money in the bank. That money will be taken away soon to pay your light, your electricity, your food, everything, your gas. You have to go to work to get more money. And it's the same thing. For 6 months you were in love. That love came from God. That love came from being a human and being someone treated you with kindness, who taught you sweetness, who showed you gentleness and showed they wanted to spend their life with you and didn't criticize you and was loving you who you were. And that love is beautiful because that love God gives you to know that person. But that love is not enough. You have to spend time in prayer and go to communion. Because that love will help you love a sinner. Because that emotions and feelings go away. But if you respect that person, you talk to them with kindness, you thank God for them every day. And you pray every day. And you just look at the goodness in the person, not the badness. But you have to pray because the love comes in there. If you don't work, you get no money. If you don't pray, you get no blessings. If you don't go to confession, your heart is blind. It's cold. It's full of criticism and it sees all sins of your children and your spouse, but it doesn't see your sins. You have to be very humble. And when you go to confession, you learn to be humble. You have this great love in your heart. And the great humility because you understand how sinful you are and how God is merciful to you. And how God so much cares for you and still gently is patient with you. And then you're able to do that to others. But you must read a little bit of the Bible each day to know how Jesus is. You need to pray with your wife and tell Jesus, I love my wife. I love my husband. Please help me be a better. Protect them. Watch over them. Fill them with your love. Continue to bless them because they're good people. Let them hear you praise them. Let them hear you pray for them. Let them hear how you tell God you love them. It will be better than anything else you do for them. Your prayers and your love. People don't know to be criticized and yelled at. You need to correct them with love and humility, with great patience. Because that's charity. If you don't do that, you don't love them. But first, show the example. And be patient with them as Jesus with you. God wants you to be happy in your marriage. And even though you suffer, He wants you to be happy. Not just someone who's perfect, an angel. You're living with a sinner. No man on earth is perfect. No woman. They're full of sinfulness, defects, imperfection. No matter if you change 100 spouses, you're going to have 100 different problems. But it's not the spouse, it's you. Say, I need a better wife, I need a husband. Don't deceive yourself. You need to change. You married a sinner, and a sinner needs lots of love and lots of help. Please pray for me to be faithful to me my vocation as a priest. Because if I don't pray and you don't pray, I become lazy, I get depressed, and through my sinfulness, I could commit many terrible sins. I need your help. I need your prayers. And I know marriage needs a lot of help. So my mass and my prayers are always before you. And please be a good example for me. Keep faithful. Love your husband and wife. And you will help me to love God and help me love my vocation and love you, even who you are. Let me end with a blessing that may God bless you in your marriage. And may you be very happy. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, may the Blessed Mother always protect you. And may she fill you with the love of her Son, that your heart will be sweetness, gentleness, and love of Jesus every day of your life, especially towards your spouse and your children. Amen. May God bless you and protect you always.